Good afternoon to one and all. I am R.V. Kiran, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering. Today, in this video lecture, I am going to explain you about the Parkinson gear tester and some of the errors which will be obtained in the gears, that is the gear errors. So, in the previous class, we have discussed about the different measuring methods of the gear, in which we have seen the base tangent method, chord method, and vernier caliper method. And today we are going to see the Parkinson gear tester. So one of the gear measurement. So first of all, we used to take upon the measurement over the rolls or balls. So over rollers and the balls. So a very good and convenient method is for the measuring of thickness. So this is a very good measurement for measuring the thickness of the gear, and in this method two or three different sized rollers are used to check the vibrations at different places on the tooth. So we use it to check the different methods, and we use it to take different rollers also. So by using these different rollers, we use it to check these gear measurement at different places while checking the vibrations. So first one is the measurement of concentricity. So in this measurement of concentricity in setting of gears, the center above in which the gear is mounted should be coincident with the center from which the gear is generated. So it is coincident to the generating scale as well as the mounted scale. And it is easy to check the concentricity of the gear, by mounting the gear between centers. So we are now going to mount the gear between the centers and measuring the variation in height with the help of a roller which is placed between the successive tooth. And finally, the variation in reading will be a function of the eccentricity point. So that will be a good variation in this eccentricity point. And finally, the reading is taken at the function of the eccentricity point. Next one is the alignment checking. So to check the alignment of the gears, whether it is closely meshing or not meshing with the interference. So this checking is done by placing a parallel bar between the gear T and the gear being mounted between the centers. And finally, the readings are taken at the two ends of the bar, and the difference in the reading is the misalignment. So multiple number of readings have been taken to identify the misalignment in the testing. To identify this misalignment in the testing, you have to take different readings. So this is for the measurement over rolls or bars. So in that first one is the Parkinson gear tester. So this is a good example for the measurement of tooth thickness. So that is the Parkinson gear tester, in which you can see it in the figure. So you can see the master gear here. So this is the master gear, and second one is the gear being inspected. So it is the second gear, and this is the scale to be seen. So the mark readings is to be seen in this scale. And this is the sliding carriage. So the gear is being inspected in this Parkinson gear tester with a gear measured with the standard gear. So that is a standard gear is measured with another gear, general gear, and the dial indicator is used to capture the radial errors. To take the readings, we have to take the we have to capture the radial errors by using a dial indicator. So this is the base in which it is mounted on a table. This is mounted on a table, and a scale is inverted on its base. So a scale is put on its base. And a dial indicator is fixed on the one of the gear, that is gear being to be inspected, and this is the sliding carriage in which it is fixed to the master gear. The sliding carriage is fixed to the master gear, in which the gear being inspected is on the sliding carriage. So whenever meshing is done between these two gears, so the meshing is done between these two gears. So whenever there is vibrations, it is used to indicate it in the dial indicator. So the deviations is done in the dial indicator only. So any vibrations can be handled is fixed on this dial indicator. So when there is vibration, the dial indicator pointer is used to rotate in its clockwise direction. So you all know about the working of the dial indicator. So a standard gear is mounted on a fixed frame, and the gear being inspected is fixed to a sliding carriage. So you all know about the sliding carriage, which you can see in the picture also. So this sliding carriage has a gear which is to be inspected, and the standard gear is mounted on a fixed frame. So that is to be fixed on a fixed frame, and dial indicator primarily measure the irregularities in the gear under inspection. So first of all, this dial indicator is used to set to the 0 point in which there need to be any one of the deviations there. Then it is going to take the vibrations from the gear being tested. Then a dial indicator of high resolution is used to measure the composite and is used to measure the composite error, and these errors are due to the runouts and tooth to tooth spacing and profile variations. So these are the different errors which are occurred in the gears. In the later slides we use it to study it. So the scale is here is used to take the readings or check the gauge is correctly meshing or not. So wherever there is a difference, it should be shown on the master gear and the gear being tested. So this should be shown on that. So the dial indicator plunger is fixed on the sliding carriage, which is perpendicular to the sliding carriage. So, and next one, a vernier scale which enables the measurement of the center distance up to 25 micron meters. So it will be seen in the microscope only. So these vernier scale enables the measurement of the center distance. So that is the meshing of the gears can be seen in this, and the dial indicator is firstly set to 0. So that is 0 setting have been fixed to it, and the gear under inspection is rotated. Whenever the gear under inspection, that is the second gear which is used to rotate. So whenever it is rotated in the anti-clockwise direction, the master gear will rotate in the clockwise direction. And the gear under inspection is rotated and the radial variations are indicated by the dial indicator. So these radiations or the radial variations are easily indicated by the indicator, because any type of vibrations or any other deflections can be easily indicated in the dial indicator. That is, it has a pointer which is to be fixed to the plunger movement. And this variation is plotted on a graph sheet. So we have to take a graph sheet and then we have to plot the readings which will be obtained in this dial indicator. So this indicates the radial variations in the gear for one complete revolution. So for one complete revolution of the radial variations, this will be indicated in the plotted graph. So the variations have been seen in the plotted graph only. And first of all, whenever this master gear is fixed on the vertical spindle, so that is used to set up on the fixed spindle, and the gear is tested on the gear to be tested is fixed on similar spindle which is mounted on a carriage. So that is mounted on a carriage, that is movable carriage. And The carriage which can slide both sides, that is these gears are maintained in mesh by the spring pressure, so that is it can move in both the directions according to the pressure and vibrations occurred in the gears, that is the two gears. And when the gears are rotated, the movement of the sliding carriage is indicated by a dial indicator, and these variations are measure of the irregularities in the gear under test. And the variations recorded in a recorder which is fitted in the form of waxed circular chart. So these are to be recorded in the waxed circular chart. And the gears are fitted on the mandrels and are free to rotate without clearance. So these gears are generally fitted to the mandrels which are ready to rotate. So which are ready to rotate in its direction. And let the mandrel moves along the table and the right mandrel moves along the spring loaded carriage. So these mandrel is fixed to the a movable spring which is attached to the carriage. And these left mandrels which is used to move along the table and the right mandrel is moves along the spring loaded carriage. And these two mandrels have to be adjusted so that the axial distance is equal and the scale is attached to the one side of the vernier and vernier to the other one. So this enables the center distance to be measured within 0.025 mm. So that is the least count of the vernier calipers, that is 0.02. So we are actually taking the 0.02 mm. Here it is obtained as 0.025 mm. Next, if the errors occur in the tooth form, that is in the gear tooth form, the gears will be in the closer mesh. So they are actually in the closer mesh, in which the pitch or concentricity of the pitch line will cause a variation at the center. This will change the variation at the center, and it occurs a variation in the center distance from this moment of carriage. So this will be the moment of carriage only. So the moment of carriage is indicated by the dial indicator, in which the dial gauge will show the errors in the gear test. So it will surely get the errors in the gear test, and the recorder is also fitted. That is, the recorder is also fitted in the form of a circular or rectangular chart, and after this the errors have been recorded in it. And let's see the limitations of this Parkinson gear tester. So its accuracy is plus or minus 0.001 mm, so which is a very least one, and the maximum gear diameter is up to 30 mm only. Sorry, 300 mm only, that is 30 centimeters, and the errors are not clearly identified. So these errors are not clearly identified in this Parkinson gear tester. And next one, the measurement is dependent upon the master gear only. So that does not depend on the gear to be tested, which is fixed to the spindle, but it is dependent on the master gear only. So that is on the master gear. And low friction in the movement of the floating carriage. So the floating carriage means which is attached to the moving carriage. So the low friction is one of the limitations of the Parkinson gear tester. So when it has low friction in the movement, it has less movement in the friction gear. So that is also one of the limitations. So see it for a while. Let's go to the principle. So the principle of operation of this rolling gear tester. So when you have to test it, you have to know the principle of cutting it. So when the master gear and the gear under test are in closer mesh and rotated, any error will cause variation in the center distance, because when we are using two types of gears or any other difference in the gear tooth also results in the variations of these gears. So this results in the occurring of errors in it. So this results in the errors of the gears. And the moment of carriage is indicated on the dial gauge, which is shown as an error in this page. So which is shown as an error in the page. So this is the rolling gear tester machine. It has two types of it. So this is the master gear and this is the gear to be tested. And the dial indicator is fixed on the moving carriage. So this is the moving carriage. So whenever there is difference in this meshing, so that is to be tested in that point. So the errors can be checked by these dial gauge only. So let's see the gear errors. So what are the general type of errors which is occurred on the gear tester or gears? So first one is the profile error. So the maximum distance of any point on the tooth profile forms to design this profile. So this design of profile is occurred as the tooth profile distance. The next one is the pitch error. So it is the difference between actual and the design pitch. And second one, next one is the cyclic error. the errors occurs in each revolution of the gear. So the error occurs in each revolution of the gear is taken as the cyclic error. Next one is the runout. So total range of the reading of a fixed indicator with the contact of the points. So which is applied to a surface applied is called as the runout without the axial movement and which is not having a fixed axis. So this does not have the fixed axis in its position. So that defines the runout position. Next one is the eccentricity. So it is the half of the radial runout. So it is the half of the amount of the radial amount which does not have any fixed axis to its point. Next one is the wobble. So the runout measured parallel to the axis of a rotation at a specified distance from the axis is called the wobble. So this has a specified distance from its axis. Next one is the radial runout. So the runout measured along a perpendicular to the axis of rotation is called the radial runout. So which does not have the proper axis of rotation for its errors. So that is used to be measured along the perpendicular to the axis of rotation. Next one is the axial runout. So this runout is parallel to the axis of rotation at a different speed. So that is to a different speed of action. Next one is the periodic error. So the error occurring at the regular intervals of time is called as the periodic error. So the periodic errors is occurring at the errors at the regular intervals of time. So these are the different types of gear errors which occurs at the measurement of gears. So generally these are occur due to the difference in the measurement of the gears, but some errors occurs due to the lack of knowledge, that is the lack of gear knowledge, and some other due to the awareness of the gear, that is the awareness of the gear. So these are the different types of gear errors. So generally the measurement of the gear is done by these measurements, and whenever you are going to left these violations in the gear test measurements, so you will generally occur these errors. So whenever you have seen in the Parkinson's gear tester or a vernier tooth gear or the base tangent method or in any other method, so all these methods have been occurring some type of errors in the gear while meshing or while wear measurement. So there is some wearness in the gears, so that is why they will occur some type of sound or vibrations. So this will occur some type of sound or vibration. So by this, I am ending this class. So this is about the Parkinson's gear tester and some gear errors which will occur in the gear measurement. Thank you.